Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. We're just heading up towards the central grain elevator with a trailer load of eggs. We have very, very carefully loaded these eggs into this trailer, taking absolute meticulous care with each and every egg, because obviously we wouldn't want any of them broken. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. So yes, well, we did put the eggs in the trailer. That's that much at least is accurate. We did put the eggs in the trailer. They are there. They are in the trailer. What more could anybody ask for? And we're going to run them up this way. We're just going to see how well they sell. We did do this because I wanted to find out if it was fairly quick and easy just to scoop them up with a bucket and, you know, sell them off this way, because it does appear that to use the egg pallets, we do have to manually pick up every single packet of eggs and load it into the egg pallet. That being said, it could very well be quicker still just to do it like that anyway. The only thing that we don't have at the moment is an auto loader for pallets. Now, I would like to get an autoloader for pallets, and maybe we can get one at some point, so we'll worry about that at some point in the future. I am on Euros at the moment because I've been recording time-lapse, but I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to live life on the edge, and I'm going to change it back to this. Now, do we just have to have the eggs over the top, or do we actually have to tip them onto the ground? Just over the top doesn't do anything. Oh. Okay. Now that's interesting. The trailer is just a tiny little bit too high. You don't have access to this land. So the trailer is a tiny little bit too high to actually properly tip the eggs out. To actually have them accepted. But we can tip them out by, so we can do this by hand, but I can't force tip these eggs out here because we don't own the land, so it's not going to allow me to force tip them, but I can take them and I can dump them off the back of the trailer. So what we would need in order to be able to do this is a lower trailer, and that's not really an option, so we're back. This isn't going to be practical doing it like this. We haven't saved ourselves any time. We have got some of the eggs out, and we've sold some of the eggs, but it's definitely not going to be a practical solution doing it like this in the long run. So we're back to using our regular pallets. Now, that's interesting, actually, because I put that one, and that was sort of out to the side, and it's still sold. Anyway, I suppose it particularly matters. Let's just do that a minute. One thing that we could do, we do need to earn some money, right? We need cash at the moment. We got Field 8 is ready to harvest. The only downside to that is that it's wheat, and that is going to take a ridiculous amount of time to harvest. Now, and they want us to take it to the ranch as well, which is over there, so it's not like right on the side. That's not ideal, is it? Field 11 weeding. Where's Field 11? That's that one. We could get ourselves a quick $5,000 doing that. What else have we got? Baling. Fertilizing there on Field 5. That's $20,000. I think we'll leave the jobs. We'll leave the paid jobs for a bit, and we'll try something else. But there's a few things that we need to do. In particular, one thing that I want to do is we're getting more and more pallets that I need to move. We're getting more and more pallets building up that I need to be able to shift. We've got a load of wool pallets that we need to be able to shift. We want to get some more egg pallets anyway and shift those. The eggs have done pretty well. Right, we were minus $10,500. We're now minus $87. So we got almost I'd say we got about $10,500 for the eggs that we've just sold, and that wasn't even all of the eggs. That was only some of the eggs. We've still got a load more eggs that we can pick up and we can sell. We can load those onto the small trailer, and we could bring those up and we could sell those. It does mean another trip, but that's fine. Actually, no. I was just wondering if we could put that small trailer onto the back of the Mahindra, but I don't think the Mahindra will take that trailer. I mean, if it does, even better, because that does double the speed of what this tractor does. I mean, this tractor does do a fair turn of speed at 32 miles an hour, but the Mahindra, that would be better. That would be fair. Actually, I thought this tractor did more than 30 miles an hour. It is in need of repair. It might be that if we repair it, the top speed will... I don't actually know. I don't think it does. 30 miles an hour, so 50. That's 50k, isn't it? Ish. Well, 30 miles an hour is the 50k box. No, I don't think it's going to go very much faster than it is right now. Okay, so we won't worry about that one. And we'll just take the Mahindra a second, and we will see if we can put that one onto the small trailer that has got all of the... So we loaded up those eggs right there. We've still got all of those eggs over there that we haven't done anything with. So we take the Mahindra a minute, and we'll just see if we can load that one up. Let's just stop you right there. Nice and quick. And we will go to... Oh. Right, well, the Mahindra's in town, which means that we've got to drive it back from town. Well, we've got some eggs on it. Oh, no, I was just thinking I could go and get another trailer. But that's not going to work either. Another trailer is not going to be a successful idea because I don't have any money to go and get said trailer with. So we can't go and do that either. I just got to get this one back home a minute. And... Oh, we had a... Ooh. I thought I was going to be airborne and crash. I'm not going to make it round this corner. I'm sure... not like that, I won't. Not like that, I won't. Right. I will meet you at the farm. I really want to go up here. I was thinking I could launch off the top there. I'm actually thinking I'm going to go up here. Just see if I can put anything off of there. Oh no! I landed in the chicken pen! That wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to end up in the chicken pen. I was supposed to go right over the top. I catapulted over the first one successfully. The second one was not quite so successful. Can I get... No, that gate is too small. Look. I'll never fit. That means I gotta reset it. Oh, this is heartbreaking. Well, it looks like we're going to try that again. At least we can have another go at taking the corner at full speed. Now, we haven't quite built up the full speed here, like we were last time, but we will have built up the full speed by the time we get to the bottom of the hill. Can we get round this corner at full speed without using brakes? Without... I did it! I actually did it! That might have been a first. I'm going to avoid launching myself off the... Ooh. Unless I go a bit further along the track and, like, launch myself from higher up. Now, there's an option. There is an option. Why not? You only live once, Frith. You only live once. Yeah, that's not really sort of a launchable spot, really, is it? It doesn't seem to work very well. Never mind. Okay, so we'll forget about doing ridiculous things like that. We need the Mahindra over here because what we wanted to find out first was, can that trailer be towed by the Mahindra? All of this messing around was just to find out this one tiny little detail. And here is the big question. Almost definitely, certainly... Whoa, wait a minute. What? Oh, that was brilliant. I'm thinking it would be better if we had the four-wheel version. You know, there is the turntable version. Let me just strap those down a second. I'll show you the one that I mean. It's in mods. We've got it. We do have it available. You go into trailers. We've got that one there available, but there's another one over here, which is that one there. Same trailer. It's just got a turntable on it instead. That one, I think, would be perfect for the Mahindra. We wouldn't have this nonsense. But we'll stick with this nonsense for a minute, and we'll bring this nonsense over here, and we'll see how well this one gets on. It might be able to tow. It might be able to do it. You never know. We may be able to get up around quite successfully. I did want to sort of try out with putting the pallets against the eggs, but I don't think we're going to worry about that at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll just continue to pick them up by hand and load them like that. This does work. I don't know how many have gone into the pallet. There. Works quite well, actually. And another one. I don't know which... Okay. It's a job to tell where they're loading. It's a job to tell which pallet they're loading as well. I think as they go in there, they're loading the back pallet, but it's not easy to tell which one is which. They're sort of loading both pallets simultaneously, I think. And that's not quite what I wanted to do. Right, get you out from under there. Put you into there. And then we've got one more over here. And that one goes in there. So I've got no way of knowing how many eggs I've got in these two pallets without going and getting the pallet forks from the with the tractor and doing it that way. But yeah, that's going to take a bit of time, and I can't really be bothered with it, so I'm going to just run off with these. We've got so much wool back there. I want to be able to come back and start loading the wool. Something I'm going to try and get ready for next week, I think, is a pallet auto-loading trailer of some kind. I've not really... I know that there are some auto-loads out at the moment. There are already some auto-loading trailers available. I haven't really gone and looked at them, but that is something I'm going to look at ready for next week, is auto-load trailers. In particular, at the moment, I'm going to go for ones that take pallets. And I'm not going to worry too much about ones with bales. Although, one that will do square bales would be really good. We haven't got any round bales at the moment, so we don't need to worry about the round bales. But one that takes square bales would be really good, because it means that we wouldn't have to do multiple trips with our artisan. We could do all of the trips just using a trailer with auto-load on it, which would most likely give us everything that we need to take in one go. Right, we'll bring you out round here. There's one other thing I wanted to find out, and that is, can we sell bulk silage at the barn? Can we sell loose silage at the barn? I know that you do have to sell... Normally you'd sell silage at the biogas plant, and as far as I know, silage has a set price at the biogas plant. It doesn't fluctuate like it does with the bales now at the bale sell point. So, it's... but I don't know. Originally it was set at $500 per 1,000 litres for... regardless of what you did, what you bought, and regardless of anything, it was $500 per 1,000 litres. And that was it. Right, we'll bring you over to here, and... Yes, that was the downside to this, wasn't it? We need to get those pallets off of there. This is going to make it a bit more tricky. Well, I got one off of there. That might have been... Oh, I know how I can do this. I think I know how I can do this. What we're going to need to do... We need to do that, and then we're going to need to reverse, and then do that. And I'll sort of reverse and stop, and then I'll do the same again, and I'm hoping that that will sort of cause it to jump off the back. This is not a good way to be unloading. So again, we could do with a little bit more of... There we go. That's looking a bit more promising. It's almost off the back. Take you off of there. I'll put the strap on that one a minute, so that I can get a little bit of speed up. There. I just want to bring it out to there, and then like this. We go. There we go. Right. So we've got stage 1 complete. Now all I got to do is go around and push the thing through. So yeah, we do have to actually physically unload the eggs and put them down. Again, an auto-loader would make this a lot easier, because this is a standard pallet, I believe. This is also a standard pallet that's not loading properly. Why aren't you just moving forward? Let me leave the trailer behind a second. See if we can do something with this one. We definitely can't use this one then to move the sheep's wool, because we've got to unload the sheep's wool as well. Seriously, why aren't you moving? I thought this... Oop. Okay. How can I get that to sell? Eggs? I know other people have said that eggs are a bit of a nuisance when trying to get them to sell, because you can't get them to sell at the sell points particularly easily. You do have a bit of a mess around. The wool, not being able to just sell stuff direct off the trailers. I mean, it's like they took the easy sell methods that we had previously for wool, which was absolutely fantastic, and bales. We had it for bales, we had it for wool. It was all there. It was all absolutely brilliant. And again, there we go. Right, we finally got it. So just had to go forward a little bit more. And it was all there in the game. It was absolutely brilliant in FS17. You just drove over the sell point and you sold it. You didn't have to unload every time. So they took that idea and they put that into the wood sell point, which is absolutely wonderful. There's a huge improvement on the wood sell point. Makes life a lot easier for everybody. It's a massive improvement. And then they decided to get rid of all of that for everything else. And I absolutely cannot understand the logic behind it. Because I don't know. There doesn't seem to be... The reason I think that there's no logic behind it is because if you take your goods to sell somewhere, if you take your goods to a place that is going to be unloading it, they have the facilities to unload your load. You bring it in on pallets, they have the facilities to unload those pallets. So having the pallets just unload like they did in FS17, like you did with the wool, that's a very realistic approach, because they would unload the load for you. You don't unload the load yourself when you turn up at some big warehouse, right? They do that. That's their job. And that's how it works. The world over, they unload your load for you. You don't do it yourself. And so now in FS19, it's like it's taken a step backwards and said, you know what? We're going to go against the grain here. We're going to look at what the entire world does. We're going to do it differently, just because. And yeah, I am a bit disappointed with that. I am just a little bit disappointed. The wood is absolutely fantastic. That was a major leap forward. So I thought that was absolutely wonderful when they brought that in. I really did. I was genuinely impressed, absolutely over the moon about it. But this having to mess around with the pallets quite a bit with the wool and with other bits and pieces is frustrating, to say the least. Right, we'll leave that one there a minute, and we'll get into this one. So we've got more crop up there. I know what I'm going to do. We're going to fast forward, because we've got this really messy crop up here, which quite frankly looks appalling. And that was because we had the old seed drill, we didn't have the new seed drill. So I said that we would just hurry up, plant, and then ignore it. So that's what I did. But what that's resulted in is probably the messiest field that we've ever had. Ever. In the history of our fields. It's terrible. Right? It's genuinely awful to behold. And I can understand the distress that this may cause some people. Because quite frankly, it also causes me no small measure of distress. But what's done is done. We now have it ready to harvest, so we will leap into this one like some kind of elegant gazelle, and we will start. So I'm just going to go straight into it like this, and I'm going to do the first round around the outside. Now, this one round around the outside, for quite a lot of it, there is just a single strip all on its own, where I did one pass around the outside, and then I kind of stopped. And we let the hired help carry on and do a load, and that wasn't quite so successful. So we'll bring this up here. How the horses are faring, how much oats they've got, and how much oats we've got in storage will decide what crop we do next. Whether or not we do some more oats in this field and wheat in the small field, or if we swap it over, or if we even just do wheat and barley across the two fields. We do need to start trying to push ahead a little bit with wheat and barley, because those chickens are actually eating more than I thought they would. So they've got to be our kind of main priority, really. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that would happen. The combine, as it's going round, is actually cutting off the dead weeds. That is pretty cool. And you don't have an animation for the dead weeds going in the front of the combine, but nevertheless, it is still pretty cool that it is cutting the dead weeds off as it goes round the field. That much I do like. I like that a lot. That is a very cool little feature. I'll bring you over this way. I think I will manually go round once more. And then once I've done that, we will leave the hired help just chugging up and down the field, and we can run along beside it with the grain trailer every now and then and gather up some of the oats. And other than that, we'll just sort of leave it to it, because we've got baling that we want to do. We're going to need to clear the bales off the field as rapidly as possible. We don't need to keep any of them, so they're just going to be scooped up, run off up the road to the bale sell point, and we will sell them up there. Why is that leaving a load of oats out to the side? Oh, I know why. It's got to be an yeah. Almost definitely because the field is uneven or something. Is it? Is that why? Okay, I'm not quite sure why, but it's chopping it up. It's squashing it with the wheels, but the header's not cutting. That header's not cutting at all. Why isn't it cutting? We're not full. Hang on. Let's see if it says anything on here. Turn off harvester. Disable straw swath. There's no reason why it should be doing this. Right, I'm crushing the crop as I go round, but it's not harvesting anything at all. Is it because of the weeds? It's just not cutting now. Have the weeds, like, choked it up or so? Is it, am I missing something here? The weeds don't, like, choke us up or anything, do they? I've got... well, there should be oats in there. I'll lower you down. Turn that one on. Right, well, now it's working. I wonder if I reached if I had, like, too many weeds. If there was, like, just me going round. Did I cut too many weeds then? Is that now a mechanic? Because, like, it's now working again. Did I go through and chop too many weeds and it choked up the front of the combine? There was nothing came up to say that it had been choked up. I mean, yeah, that would actually be quite a cool thing. If that is actually a thing, that would be a very cool thing. There's no denying that. I would be quite impressed with that, actually. I'm going to go up this side here. We'll just kind of keep this in a straight line. So there is me just going along, cutting weeds like that. Did I reach a limit of what the combine is allowed to cut, and then it just stopped on me? If anybody has any clues to why we stopped there, I would love some insight, because that was very peculiar. It seems like it could be a very cool mechanic, but we had no indication anywhere as to why it might have happened or what it was. It may have just been some sort of weird bug that turned up that we didn't know about. But at the same time, it could also have been a very, very cool feature that I previously did not know anything about. So if anybody does know, please enlighten me. My ignorance on this particular matter is painful to me. Keep going up round here. So we're getting lots more weeds going into the front. Is this going to do anything? It stopped the weeds from cutting as well, I noticed. When it happened, the weeds stopped cutting as well. More weeds up through here. Let's keep going with this. I want to see if I can replicate this. What I'll do is I'll run down the side of the actual crop that we've got down here. That's kind of similar circumstances, I think. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the combine round and I'm going to go up and I'm going to cut just the patches of weeds themselves. Right, there's a patch of weeds just behind us. We can run over that and we'll see if that does anything. It might. We may be able to replicate this. I'm actually really hoping that we can, because if this is actually a thing, it's a very cool thing. But I don't know. I don't know. This is the first I've heard of it. Stop you a minute. Although now I'm lifting up and I'm moving round, it may not actually happen. Or no, I turned the combine off, didn't I? I haven't turned anything off. What I've done is raise the combine up and now lower it back in again. Let's go on up through these weeds. See if anything is replicatable. Because it was leaving the weeds behind as well. When it happened, it started leaving the weeds behind. I think that it was just a weird one-off bug that's not going to happen again. So let's just do that a minute. And then go over to here. And I will press H in just a second. We'll do it right there. Right. We now have the hired help busy doing our field right here. So he's going to go there, and hopefully he's going to turn round correctly. What are you doing? I'm not entirely certain that he's turning round correctly. In theory, he should now reverse all the way back up to the start of the line of crop. He should not drop in too early. Going back, it's going back. He got most of it. Actually, he did do it. He did it properly. My apologies. She did do it. She did it properly. Right, well, that's working, and then it should go. She will go all the way across the field over there, and everything will be tickety-boo. So that one is now underway, and is doing a magnificent job. I'm going to start this one up here. We may as well just leave the front bucket on for a minute. Oop. Okay. Best if we don't do things like that, because, yeah, you really, really don't want to destroy everything on your own farm. I'm not having a good day today. We've choked our combine up. It's absolutely choked solid with weeds. Stopped running. I've destroyed various machines. The eggs are probably not looking their greatest. Now that's definitely wrong. She's left a huge, great big chunk of it there. We're going to offload one lot of oats right here, just as we trundle up across the field here. And I might just go and tip these straight down in for the horses, actually. What? No, don't go leaving extra bits. That's not how this is supposed to work. Supposed to just keep going right there. We've unloaded what's in there, and that one's going to go all the way up to the end of the field there. So I'll take this lot. You know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to run down this end of the field so that we're ready to roll. And I'm going to stop here. Right there. And then we'll take this. Are you still running? You're not supposed to still be running. Oop. Unfold the baler. Like that. Now start the baler up. And we will run round this field and we will very quickly do the baling. Shouldn't take too long to do the baling on this field at least, because it's nice and small. The other field does take a little bit longer to do. And also, we still don't really have the horsepower for this baler, do we? We could do with an upgrade. I want to plow the top of that field there. I also want to mow that field. I want to move the wool from the sheep there. We want to take that off and we want to sell it. We got a lot of stuff that I want to do. Another thing that sort of does bother me slightly is we used to have, was it 6 pallets that you could have in front of the sheep? I know that that was all of the sheep, so it was a little bit different in that it was all of the sheep instead of just a few of the sheep. But we could still have 6 pallets of sheep, of wool, and they were 2,000 litres apiece. So we're 12,000 litres. Now we can only have 4,000 litres. And we've only got a small sheep pen, so maybe the bigger sheep pen does allow us to have more wool in one place. But I don't think it does. I'm not entirely convinced that that would be the case. I reckon it's going to be exactly the same as it is right now. So we've kind of lost some of the external wool, so we've kind of lost some of the wool storage that we used to have. And that wool storage was actually really useful. It was a really handy little thing to have right there, because then you wouldn't have to keep shoving them along quite so much. I mean, yes, it does require more planning now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We've got those pallets right there. If we have a vehicle that's dedicated to shoving the pallets out of the way, we can soon bring it along, and every now and then we just shuffle the pallets out of the way, and then once we've got a trailer load, we can come along and we can load up the trailer load. We auto load for pallets. I know that there exist several different types of machine for handling pallets. Mostly you're looking at what we've got in the game, which is pallet forks on front loaders, or a skid steer, or telehandler, anything like that, so that you can handle the pallets. But there are machines that pick pallets up and load them onto trailers without a pallet fork in sight. Or it is a pallet fork, but it's done differently. And I think it'd be really cool to be able to see some of those. So I'm kind of hoping that, I know it's a bit more specialist. It is definitely a bit more specialist. Most places you'd never see something like that. But I'm really hoping that some modders will be able to create some of the more unusual machines. Every now and then you get a mod that turns up, like the little crane that we've got off the back of the tractor over there. Right, that's a different mod. It's different from anything else that's here. It's a small mod, but it's got what there's enough with that mod that it's a game changer. It's a genuine game changer. And you can do things with that mod that you can't do with so many other things. And I'm hoping that we get some that will handle pallets, whole pallets, and not just one pallet at a time. We could use that one for loading up the wool pallets. It's just that it's better if we can load one wool pallet at a time rather than trying to load multiples. I did try to load some bales, didn't I? That sort of worked as well. It's not great though. It's not perfect for getting them onto a trailer, but you can do it without having to have a pallet fork. So we know that that is a thing. Also, I was told that I still hadn't sort of used everything with that crane, because what you can also do is you put that one on the back of the tractor, and then you put the fertilizer spreader on the back of that one, and then the crane reaches over the fertilizer spreader, grabs hold of the bag of fertilizer, lifts it up into the air, and brings it back so that it's above the fertilizer spreader, and then it unloads into the fertilizer spreader. So you've got a self-loading fertilizer spreader when you've got that one hooked on, which I didn't actually realize was how it was supposed to work. I mean, when you think about it, it is pretty obvious. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So I'd like to test that out at some point soon and just kind of see that little bit of it in action. And also, I was wondering about maybe trying to load logs or something like that in a similar fashion, but I don't think that's going to work because the crane itself isn't rotatable, is it? The only way that you can operate the crane bit is just like up, down, and extends out behind you. So it's not really going to work for logs, but the X section on that one is going to be good for dragging logs around. So, you know, we've at least got that little bit as far as logs are concerned. We'll just finish doing the last of these bales here. We can worry about doing the baling of the oat straw a little bit later on. I'll bring that one up. I'm curious also to see if anybody is going to bring mods into the game where you have to have the correct seed for the seed drill. I know more and more people are saying that that's something that they would like to see, and it could be quite interesting. You go and buy seeds from the shop, which would just be seed, unless you buy, I mean, you can go and buy a pallet of oats, you can buy a pallet of wheat for the chickens, oats for the horses. I don't think you can buy barley. So you can already buy a couple pallets of different things, but buying it as seed, that could be quite an interesting thing. That you've got to go and you've got to put the correct seed into the seed drill. So you've got separate pallets of barley, of wheat, of oats, of canola, of beans. You've got separate pallets of absolutely everything, all there, ready to roll, and you've got to put the correct seed into the seed drill in order to be able to do the planting. I don't know how much work would be involved with, like, writing out the code for that, but I would not be surprised this time around to see a mod turn up that does actually introduce an element of that into the gameplay. It'd be very cool if it does happen. It would be very... I think that would be an awesome mod to have a little go with. So I'm very hopeful about the mods that are going to be coming out. Right? I'm thinking that this time round in FS19 we are going to see some absolutely spectacular mods. We really are, because people, I think, you know, we get a lot of the same mods. You get a lot of people produce tractor weights, but that's normally like a first mod. You make a tractor weight. You make one that's a different shape to something else, but it does the functions and everything it's supposed to do. Ideal, you got a successful mod, brilliant. And then people start sort of looking at bigger projects. How much bigger does sort of depend on the person involved, but people do start to increase just a little bit. They get bigger and bigger on their mods, and bigger on the things that they want to do with the mods. And then you end up with seasons. This is basically what happens. You start off with a weight, just a little tractor weight, and you end up producing the next version of Seasons. I mean, not actually Seasons, because Seasons is being produced, but you get the idea. And then Seasons is that good that one of those guys now actually works for Giants. So, you know, I think that the modding community, I've heard... The reason I'm talking about this is because I've seen some posts recently that said the modding community is now dead, and nobody cares about modding for Farming Simulator anymore. The sheer number of mods that are waiting testing to get onto ModHub, and the sheer number of mods that are already available everywhere for FS19, even if it's badly converted mods from FS17, sort of evidence against this, I would say. I would say it's fairly strong evidence against this. I would say the modding community is alive and well. Some people have gotten fed up with modding, admittedly, and they've moved on. But there are others coming in to fill the void, and some of the ideas that are going around at the moment, some of the badly made mods, and in particular, the ones that interest me are the mods that are made from scratch, right? The new mods. Really, really badly made. Appalling mods. Absolutely terrible mods. But that they may be bad-looking mods. Hang on, I don't want to do that. I want to go back to you, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to... just wondering where I should put it. You know, I'm just going to not do that. Going to swap that over, and I'm just going to drop that trailer right there. And then I am going to offload the loader arm a minute and get rid of that one, and I'll put a front weight back on, and then we will get the Artisan on, and we can get some bales loaded up. But it's some of the new mods, some of the mods that have previously not been seen in the game at all. They're brand new mods, really, really badly made, absolutely appalling. Like, you look at the quality of these mods and you think this is just terrible, but it's first efforts, and they do kind of work. yeah, maybe loads of errors and maybe loads of bugs, and it's, you know, as versions of it come out, more versions come out, they improve, they get better. Well, I was going up to get the weight, that's what I was doing. But yeah, it's actually really awesome to see this sort of process of new modders coming into the community and creating their own version of what they think would be a really cool mod, and building their own things from scratch. And yeah, some of them look terrible, and some of them aren't terrible, some of them are bug ridden and awful and crashy game and all sorts, and they shouldn't have been released yet. But it's a brand new mod from someone who's never modded before, and it's a really good first effort, and it's the sort of thing that says this is what this person is working towards. You can clearly see the type of thing that this person is working towards, and they're still working on it. They're still working on improving it and actually making it work. And this is what makes me think that we are going to be getting... We're already getting some pretty cool stuff. There is already some pretty cool stuff from some very experienced modders. But yeah, I think that I thought FS17 was absolutely glorious for the mods that we got. We got some fantastic mods, absolutely amazing ones. Like that, it's actually one I never actually used it. I've seen it being used a lot, but the what was it? The Go While LT Master or something like that, where you could load wood chips or dung or silage into the front. It would turn them into bales at the back, and it also added in a function into the game where you could split the bales open again. That was a brand new mod. Nothing like that had been seen before, and it was built from scratch and put into the game. I think that one was part of the modding competition, actually. But that's the kind of thing that we're seeing, where we're seeing more and more of this kind of effort of brand spanking new mods that are absolutely amazing. And yeah, at the moment a lot of them are terrible, but you can clearly see the vision of the person who's making them and the dedication to have gotten to the point where they have so early on. It's January, the game's only been out for 2 months, and we're already getting this stuff coming through. And this is quite amazing. This is extremely impressive. I think this is absolutely wonderful, extremely impressive stuff. And it really does make me think that in 6 months' time, we are going to have a collection of mods available for FS19 that is just going to blow most of the stuff we had in FS17 completely out of the water. It's, you know, the FS19 for mods, I think, is going to be... It may not be yet. There may be a whole load of mods that people want that aren't available yet. But I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. I think we are going to see some absolute blindingly wonderful mods coming into this game. And I really do have a lot of hope for it. So when you see, if you are, like, you know, you do look at Facebook groups and stuff like that, I know that this game is quite a bit different. And I say myself, I get really frustrated by things that I think are really 20 steps backwards, like the, you know, having to unload your own load when it comes to eggs and stuff like that. I absolutely don't see why that would be needed. Same with the wool. We had to unload the wool ourselves. Why would you need to do that? Why would that be a step forward? This is a step forward. You just go and click on the thing, and then you sell the wood. That's awesome. That is absolutely brilliant. That is, to my mind, one of the biggest improvements. And yes, there are things that do appear to be a step backwards, but I'm also really, really hopeful for the future of this game. I really am. And it may sound like I'm sometimes complaining and, like, really, really complaining. And I am, yeah. If it sounds like it, I probably am. But at the same time, there are some absolutely wonderful things that we're going to be getting, which I'm really looking at. 7,500, that's not bad. I do have to remember we're on easy settings on here. But 7.5 grand, that's pretty good for a load of straw bales. Considering what I get on the normal mode, normal mode on Felsbrunn, that's pretty good. That's not bad at all. I think I get about half that amount, or that's what I was the last time I did it. Anyway, I know that the prices do fluctuate. Oops. Yeah, prices of straw and that do fluctuate. So you can sell there at the load point, you've got... Now, which is which here? That's loose silage, isn't it? Or is that silage bales? Is that saying the price of what the silage bales will be? So you got hay, grass, and I don't know. I can never remember. Oh, I know how we can find out. Go to you. That's straw right there. Right. So that one there is straw. I think that one is hay and that one is grass. I think. Don't quote me on this, though. Don't quote me on this. Anyway, I have run out of time. One last thing I'd like you to do is get into the comment section and tell me what you'd like to see in the stream this week. Friday evening, it's starting at 8 o'clock GMT. It is going to be a Farming Simulator live stream. Do you want me to continue doing some work on this map and then take a look at a brand new random map of some kind, do something different in next Monday's episode? Or would you rather I did a different map in the live stream and we spent a couple of hours just having a look around at a new map and then I carried on with this one in next week's episode? So get into the comment section and let me know your thoughts, views, and opinions on that, and I will see what I can do. But until next... No, not until next time. If you've enjoyed the episode, I need to tell you what to do first. You may not know that if you enjoyed the episode, you should give me a like. So I'll just tell you, if you enjoyed the episode, then you need to give me a like. You need to head down below and give me a like. It's very important that you do that. I mean, it's not like the end of the world important, but it does help me. Honestly, it does actually help me. So if you'd like to support the channel in any way, heading below the line and just clicking that little like button, that does actually support the channel. It's a genuine help. And some people are quite surprised that it makes such a difference, but it does. It really does. So if you've enjoyed it, please go and press the like button, because it makes a difference. And if you really enjoyed it, then tell your friends about me. If you've got any friends who maybe play Farming Simulator or are interested in Farming Simulator or play other games, because obviously I do lots of other games as well, go and tell them about me and tell them to come and get them to come and watch me as well, because again, that's something else that does help. It really makes a difference. So you have the power in your hands to make a difference to this channel. But anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Don't worry, I'm going to let you see the end of it. We'll go to the end of the field. We'll go right to the end of the field. Over here, there we go. Right to the end. And that's the end of it. Right. Thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.